problems are still the same too. All of this has been burnt. But the seal is out. The problem is with these two pistons. So this is what came out of this ignition. It's a mess. It did not pass. Here is the list of all the things that failed at the last MOT check. And it's all kind of small random stuff. So what am I gonna do today? Try to address all of this. Some of them are pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, so this is the old one. No, this is the new one. 215 by 18 inches. That's the right size. This is the one I had mounted on the bike before. 250, and they didn't like that. So I've removed the sprocket and the disc. I've already replaced the bearings on a new one because I bought it secondhand and they were not good. So what I'm going to do now is clean it up, balance it, check that the spokes are tight, and then mount the sprocket. First I'm gonna clean it up, try to remove some of the rust. I mean, it's not that bad. And then I have to remove this tire, put it on this one. And the annoying thing is that I will have to do everything over again after the MOT because I'm gonna save this rim. I'm not gonna use it while racing because when I have to do the MOT in 2 years, I will need this one and I don't want to risk damaging it. So I have to put everything back on this one later so I can use it for racing. I've been struggling quite a bit to get all the spokes tight because some of them were stuck. There we go. I removed the tire from the old rim and now I have to mount it on a new one. So this is the progress. The wheel is on, the mirror. Hello. This looks even uglier, but it has the reflector. Now, I was mounting the horn, not that I really need it, but for the road check, you never know. In theory, it does have the connectors ready, but they don't work. So I bought a relay so that I can directly connect the horn to the battery and then just switch it on or off with the relay. And now I figured out, here is the button for the horn. Somehow there's some wrong or false contact connection there, so I have to open it up and figure out what's the problem there. But as usual, something that should be straightforward can take half a day to sort it out. Just an update of how things look, and just to fix a horn. This is the situation now. Stuff everywhere. In the end, it seems that the problem is with the soldering of the pins inside here. So today I have the appointment again for the MOT. And there are a couple of things that I have to finalize before I bring it to the inspection. It started leaking again from the water pump cover over here. I knew it was cracked and I fixed it with some silicone paste, but I think because last time a couple of days ago, I put proper coolant, not just water, and I think because of the chemicals, the silicone didn't work anymore. So I removed the coolant, I put new silicone and epoxy glue on the outside, and I'm just gonna put water for today and I hope it's gonna hold. Then the horn, even though it was working, it doesn't work when the fuel tank is mounted because the fuel tank is touching the horn, so it cannot vibrate and produce sound, so I have to fix the location of that. And finally, I still have to find a way to cover this one up. And then it should be good. I have to clean it up so there are no oil marks or anything, and then go for the inspection. Okay, I think it's ready. So I managed to mount this cover from AliExpress. Of course, it's not meant for this bike. I had to adapt it, cut it a little bit, and drill a hole and make this support thing here. But it works. Seems that it doesn't interfere with the chain, so that's good. Then I've cleaned it up, all the possible spots of oil and whatever. The horn is working and lights are also working. I've changed the mirror for a bigger one, so I'm sure they're not gonna complain about that. I've replaced the plastic here with a new one, which I had to adapt a little bit so it's not flapping anymore. I don't know. I have the reflector here, and that should be it. I'm gonna check it once again, make sure that everything is clean and properly working, and yeah, then crossed fingers. If this works out, then I will attempt to go to the first race next weekend. If it doesn't, of course, I cannot. I started the bike this morning and it started at the second kick and it was doing fine. So I'm confident about that. The water was not leaking anymore. Let's see how it goes. And once again, it didn't pass. This time for this. So there's some play over these ones. They want an extension of the mudguard here to protect more, I don't know what. They complained again about some oil on the exterior of the rear suspension. And this one, they didn't like that this one moves on the top, so yeah, I will have to go again. I was saying, now I'm 1 week away from the first race. It's gonna be very unlikely that I manage to fix all of this before the race and get it approved. In such a case, I will go to the first race again with a Husqvarna and go with this one on the second race. Let's see. So this is how I got back yesterday. The problem has been that they didn't allow me to cross the border with the bike because it doesn't have a license plate yet. And what I needed to do was to bring it to check the rear suspension, which was not working fine. So I had to stop before the border, demount the rear suspension and leave the bike and the trailer at a friend's of mine. Luckily I had a friend nearby the border, and do all my things, and then I came back late in the evening and I didn't feel like mounting the suspension there on the spot next to the road. So this is how the bike looks. So this is the result of the endless day of shopping yesterday. I've got the new things here to replace these ones. As you can see, these one are, especially this one, has a lot of play, and the new ones of course don't. So this is fair that they complained at the inspection. This is the extension of the mudguard that goes to the front here. I still don't get the point of having this one, but fine. Then I got some nice extras. This is the fix for the water pump corrosion, because it's still not working fine. So this will go on top here, remove the lid and goes there. So basically water does not go into the case anymore, but it stays in this additional piece, which is aluminum CNC machine, so no corrosion on this one. This should be the solution. I've got a blue ignition coil to test. I've got the rear shock checked again, but I'm starting to suspect that the problem is not with the shock, but it is with the way it is mounted, so I have to check that. So I figured out the problem with the rear suspension. So the problem was that it would not, when compressing, it would not come back anymore. I thought initially it was just a suspension itself, but I've realized that when I replaced all these bearings here, I did not notice that the ones that go here are different than the ones that go here. So these ones are supposed to go here and these ones go here. The difference is that the ones that should be here are slightly larger, like longer, 2 millimeters more. So now the situation is that these ones are too big, so they stick out a couple of millimeters too much and they create friction with these ones when they are mounted on. So I have to change them. I feel sorry for the guy that I kept complaining to. I kept bothering him because of the suspension, but it was my fault. So here's the difference between the 2 and the 2. So initially I had the taller ones in this one, but actually the taller ones should go in this one. Progress of the day is this one. Now it does not have play anymore. The extension here, useless in my opinion. I managed to find the problem of the suspension and fix it, so now it works. And what's remaining to do is just the cover here. I've added here a second point of connection there, so this is sturdy now. So I just went for a short ride to test that everything is fine. Seems to be fine. So what I'm going to do now is to clean it up, make it nice, make sure there are no signs of oil or liquids or whatever anywhere, mount all the plastics and everything, and then it should be ready. Today is Sunday. First race it's next Saturday, so what is it, 5 days? But I'm gonna leave on Thursday. That gives me basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday plus half of today to have the bike ready. I'm gonna bring it for the check once again on Tuesday. If it goes fine, I'm gonna remove all the crap that I had to put on for the check, make it ready for racing. And on Wednesday, if I manage, I will go to a cross piste to test it, so that, if something fails, it fails here at home. I don't have to drive 1,000 kilometers to get to the race location and find out after 10 kilometers of racing that the bike is falling apart. And yeah, that's the plan. It's very tight. I don't know, anything going wrong could make it fail. And that's the end of it, but crossed finger, let's go on with it. Ladies and gentlemen, finally I got the approval. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm gonna leave Thursday morning for the race. That leaves me about 1 day and a half to get the bike actually ready for racing. I'm going to have to, let me show you. I'm going to have to remove all of these, speedometer, mirror, change the rim, then put bigger fuel tank. I'm gonna replace the exhaust with the racing one, so I don't damage this one, which is original. Test the new ignition coil. Anyway, I'm very relieved that I got the approval. because it was such a burden not knowing if I could, put it back on the road. And last time it was in 1993 when it got the approval, so 32 years ago. And the bike could have been perfect, but if for any reason I didn't get the approval, it was just money wasted and project finished. So it's a burden off my chest, to be honest. So let's continue. I start by removing that ugly plate holder and the wire connection for the light. Then I remove the mirror and the speedometer. With that done, I unbolt the seat and take off the extension of the front mud guard. Then it's time for the sprocket cover. To access the horn, I first have to remove the radiator covers and the fuel tank. Finally, I can disconnect the horn and the wires to the battery. To be on the safe side, I decide to mount the modification that moves the water pump outside of the clutch case. That means disassembling once again the clutch cover. I lay the bike on the ground so that I don't have to empty the gear oil. You see me mounting the case back without any modification because sadly I found out that the mod does not fit on the case after the reparation work done to the water pump housing. This is a crucial moment that will play a critical role later on and at the first race, leading to a waterfall of issues with a catastrophic result. If I did not remove the clutch case, this video would have probably had a different ending. I then continue with mounting the new second-hand ignition coil, the exhaust pipe and the muffler. Alright, I've already removed the tire from the official rim, already removed the spacers. That's the one that I'm going to use for racing tire. Now just put it on, then I have to put again the brake disc and the sprocket, and that's it. Alright, so with the wheel mounted, what I still have to do is to test the new not so new ignition coil. This is supposed to be for a 2-stroke compared to the other one, which is for a 4-stroke. Blue ones for 2 strokes, they can have different codes and that changes the ignition timing. Some of them have fixed ignition timing, some others have variable. I have no idea even if the bike will start, but I'm gonna give it a try and see. Well, it seems to be running. I mean, I didn't really went far, but confident enough to give it a try at the motocross track. What I still have to do is to replace the small tank with a bigger one here. It needs the tap, so I have to move it from there to here. But first I want to see if it fits with the exhaust. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit because this exhaust goes slightly higher than the original one. And with the small tank it's fine, but with this one it doesn't fit. I think I'm gonna put back the old exhaust because I do really need a bigger fuel tank for the long rally races. Here we go, and I'm at the motocross track for the first test. I'm kinda nervous, I have to say, but let's see how it goes. It's basically a durability test. I want to see, I want to make sure that the bike doesn't break down and also get a feeling of how it rides and get used to it a little bit. I did a very slow first lap. Everything is so different. Like, suspensions are way more soft. I find it hard to find the rear brake, and the main problem is still with the fuel cap here that I noticed it's leaking fuel. Water is not leaking yet, so yeah, I think I'm just gonna go on and see if it gets better. We might have a problem already. There was some weird noise coming from inside here. I don't know, I'm gonna have to open and check. Indeed, here's the problem. This one got loose. I mean, I'm surprised that it got loose, as the thread is in the opposite direction, so, but yeah, I'll have to fix it. And now it is leaking gear oil. I don't know from where. Looks from the top there, but not sure. Okay, so I've done the first test and it's not too bad, other than a few small problems. I actually don't know if you hear me, but I was saying, other than a few small problems here with oil leaking from, I guess, the top there, fuel leaking from the fuel tap, from the fuel cap, and I think that's it. I think it rides all right, so I'm gonna risk it and go to the race tomorrow. So I just came back. I'm quite tired, actually, to be honest. It's late in the evening, but I have no other moment to do this because I'm leaving tomorrow. So I'm gonna take everything apart again, seat, tank, and remove the case here again, so I can put some additional silicone in addition to the gasket, so hopefully it will not leak oil anymore, because it's just too much to go on like that. And then in the meantime I have to find a solution to this problem. Here we go for the second consecutive day. I'm removing the clutch side cover. Hopefully that will fix the oil leak. I think it was happening around here on top, or even from there. I'm gonna put new seal and then leave it like this overnight, so oil doesn't go in between and it has time to dry. Today is the day I'm leaving for the race. Yesterday night I stayed until 1 a.m. more or less. Hopefully the new silicone seal will stop the issue with the oil leaking. I charged the battery. This is the solution for the cap leaking. Hopefully it will not melt with petrol, but we will see. Eventually I will just bring a bunch of gloves and replace them. What I still have to do is build kind of a temporary license plate that I will use during the race, adjust the carburation, and mount the power box for the rally instrument. So it's gonna be again a long day. I'm planning to leave after lunch, more or less. Well. I've mounted the power box for the road book and the trip master, and also the wheel sensor. So you see this one here goes all the way down to the sensor underneath here, and here I will mount the magnet that will spin with the wheel and give the signal to the sensor. The magnet, I don't have it yet, as well as the handlebar mount for the road book, which will go here. They are at a friend of mine's, which I will meet in the afternoon, so can't really do much more there. What I'm going to do now is to put the fuel tank, seat, license plate. I have to fix this problem, and then we should be about done. No, I cannot believe this. So I've put everything on. I was like, okay, let me try to start it once before, you know, loading it on the trailer. And this is the problem. So the Kickstarter is not returning, and I believe that yesterday when I mounted it, the spring fell out of place, so I have to reopen everything again. I'm 4 hours late, but the car is ready. Now I just have to load the bikes on the trailer and then leave. First stop is at a friend's place 4 hours away, where I will spend the night, and then in the morning we will share the remaining part of the trip to the race location. I did not even prepare the Husqvarna for racing. It still has street tires and the luggage rack mounted. Hopefully I will not have to use it. Ready to go. 3 bikes on the trailer. 4 hours, no, 5 probably. There we go, it's 3 p.m. We just arrived at the place and I have quite a lot of maintenance to do before I can do the administrative verification of the bike. And yeah, I still have to decide whether I'm gonna use this one for racing or not. I have to check if it is leaking water now. Alright, so I've replaced the needle jet, because this is the old one and the hole got bigger and bigger. And now I've also adjusted the main jet, the idle jet. I'm gonna replace the needle with a new one, and then I have to go for the administrative stuff. Okay, so I was doing a test before going to the sign up, and something is off. Not sure whether, so it feels like something is off on the clutch side, but it stopped while running on the road. It doesn't start anymore. I'm not sure if I even seized the piston, but yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. I mean, I can't even start it now, so I have to do it with the other bike. It's 1:45. I've finished with the preparation of the bike. That's my tent over there. These are all the other bikes. Yeah, it's very disappointing and frustrating. And yeah, sad. I mean, I knew it was more likely to fail than to achieve something, but I was hoping for a little bit better, considering, you know, all the nights I spent trying to fix it and get it ready for this day. But yeah, the lesson is that rushing through this kind of stuff doesn't bring results. So I'm gonna focus on the race days, on the race weekend, and then think about it when I get back. Yeah, time to go early start tomorrow. Okay, so I'm back from the first race weekend. It has been intense, so to say. I mean, even before leaving for the race, I had a couple of very busy days with late nights of work trying to fix mostly problems related to the clutch cover, so water leaks, oil leaks, and fuel tank leaks. But still, I felt I could have a chance of, well, giving it a try at the first race. So I brought the bike to the race. We got there on Friday afternoon when the verification, so registration for me, the driver, the pilot, and the bike had to be done on Friday afternoon. And before doing the official registration, I wanted to, you know, start it and test it like for a short ride on the road, just to make sure that it wouldn't fail. And when I started it over there, I heard some unusual mechanical noise from this side of the engine. I don't know what it was still. And I took it for a very short ride for about, I don't know, 1 kilometer, a couple of kilometers, not much more. And the engine failed. So it was running, it lost power, and then completely died. Didn't move anymore. And now it is actually stuck. Like, I can't move the Kickstarter anymore, which most likely means the piston seized. I still don't know why. I don't know if it has to do with the ignition and the new ignition coil that I've put on the bike. Some of you told me in the comments that this was going to happen because of the ignition timing and the system that I found on the bike, but I tested it at the motocross track and it was running okay, so I thought I could give it a try. But anyway, so that's what happened. Then I had to quickly change bike and get ready for the race, but yeah, that's another topic anyway. Now, still, I don't know what happened. Indeed, I don't know if the piston seized. I don't know if it is a mechanical problem on the something here. I don't know if I made a mistake. One of the too many times I had to take this apart and mount it again late at night and rushing things through. I don't know. So that's going to be the first step, to figure out what happened, why it happened, and what is the damage. But anyway, races, the championship started now. The next race will be in 4 weeks, and then there's another one in 4 weeks. So it's not realistic to try to fix the bike for the next races, because I would end up in the same situation, rushing, not testing it properly, and risking to throw away a race. Luckily, in last race, it failed before I did the registration, so I could change bike. But if it failed after, I couldn't participate. I would, just stay there at the paddock looking at the bike. So that's a high risk, considering the resources necessary for the participation in a race in terms of money and time, also because they are quite far away. We're talking about 500, 700 kilometers one way in distance to reach the place. So definitely not the kind of thing that I want to waste. So yeah, the plan is for the future is to take a step back, slow down, do it properly. So I'm gonna take this one. First, I'm gonna empty the oil and the carburetor so the bike can stay there without creating additional damage. Then what I will do, I will take the cover off and I will send it back to the guy that did the job of the water pump so that he can fix it properly once again. So I will have no water leaks anymore. That's gonna be step one. Step two will be about taking the cylinder and the cylinder head off so I can see what's the damage. After that, slowly take my time to put it back together, be confident that it's fine. I'm gonna replace the ignition with a new compatible system. I'm not gonna use this one because it's too much of a mess to understand where it's coming from, which ignition coil I can use. And it looks like if you really use the wrong one, which they all look alike and it's not easy to find information about, could work fine or you could make a disaster. So I can't risk that. So indeed, I'm gonna replace the ignition system and figure out what happened and eventually fix those kind of issues. Bright side is that it happened at the beginning of the championship. I'm gonna race with the other one and I do have the road approval. So for the coming 2 years, I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can just focus on getting the bike ready for racing, test it at the motocross track over several tries and be confident about that. So yes, still a lot of work to do. I'm not giving up. I'm just slowing down a little bit and I'm gonna do things properly. Because yeah, the main reason behind what happened is that I'm not experienced, first of all, and I had to rush a lot things. So the combination of the two, it's the perfect recipe for disaster. I bent the rear brake. Something happened to the pump.